Today we're going to talk about a very important trend which is recently emerging in 2023. Of course, there are many HR trends that is going on, and every year, if you can see, there are a lot of updates being shared. Now, if you look at the top HR trends in 2023, one is how you handle diversity, diverse employees, and how will you handle the hybrid office culture where some of you are working from home and some of them are working from office. How are we going to manage this? And of course, we have recruitment challenges, the talent issues, which has been there for a very long time. And another major challenge which has come or ahead of us is upskilling employees. Now, we are not talking about skill, we're not talking about skilling them. Of course, the need of the skill has been a very important and a very vital thing in the global market. And skill, of course, is mandatory. Now, who denies there is no skill? If you have skill, you need to get to work. But now the need is that whether there were saying many arguments actually, there are many kind of dimensions towards this discussion. First of all, we discussed whether skills are important. Then we came to a conclusion that skills are important. Then we started categorizing the skills. We said hard or soft. Then we came up with the conclusion that hard skills are more vital because hard skills are a combination of technical plus behavioral. So those skills required for the job to be performed effectively. So yes, that is also needed. And then another thing that we talked about is how can we make an workforce scalable. Then we talked about different employment techniques, different training methodologies, and we made sure that all the employees are trained in a proper structure so that everybody falls under the skills category. And after this, we move to another level or another dimension is competency. Yes, some of you would have heard this word before, some of you not. So let me say you what competency is actually. Now, what is a skill? A skill is a developed ability. A skill is something that you develop over a period of time. Skill is something, sometimes it is born with you, sometimes it is acquired. You acquire a skill through learning, through observation, or sometimes it comes naturally to you. But what happens? What happens when you acquire a skill? You have to keep practicing it. You have to keep implementing it. Without implementation, the skill vanishes. The skill loses its value. And there should also be continuous assessments. If you don't have an assessment or if there is no implementation, the skill loses its value. The skill nullifies. But the second scenario is what happens if you are implementing the skill and you are slowly becoming a pro in it or maybe a master in it, then that is where you reach the level of competency. Competency is a mastered skill. It is something that you acquire over a period of time. Sometimes you are a born master. Anything can happen to an individual. Always how individuals learn, what individuals can do, what is the potential they can, is still a big debatable topic. Nobody can unearth it completely. Every individual has some secrets. Every individual has some hidden talent, which probably as an organization, if you're able to pull that across, then I think your organization is going in a very right path. But becoming a mastery, become a master, is it always possible? Yes, it is possible, but it is again on the individual's part because organization is already lacking behind of skilled labor. We are worried about how skilling can work. Then how can we even say about or think about competency? Yes. So skills are important, but how we acquire them is also important. But now the second most thing that we come up with, that you have another dimension that talks about is what happens. As I told you, the very important point is what happens if you're not implementing the skill vanishes. That is where this term called upskilling comes. The need of upskilling an employee is most important thing. If you're not upskilling an employee, what happens? He loses, or he might lose the value of the skill. I can say like that. Maybe he might not lose the skill. He cannot go to that extreme, but he might lose the value of the skill that he possesses. The upskilling of an employee, the first thing is he needs to be made realized the value of the skill that he possesses. The first stage. Upskilling gives you or tells you that the skill that you have needs to be groomed, needs to be polished. If not, you might lose the importance in your organization. Now, is it for one skill? No. Any jobs that you have, any individuals that you have, you need to have maybe tens or 20 sets of skill set, as every job has its own set of requirements. Each and every skill has to be polished. Each and every skill is important. So the first stage of upskilling is you need to make an employee realize the power of polishing his skills, the power of requirement that a skill has to be more practiced. If not, it loses its value. And the second thing is, the second important on why upskilling is very important is upskilling also gives us the competitive edge. Now, when I say competitive edge is that you are just not comparing yourself with some random person or random individual who does not have skill or who does not equally have a caliber with you. It is somebody that you equally fight with, somebody who has your own caliber, somebody who sets things the same level that you think of, who can, how you pull it off, he pulls off the same. So the second most important point of upskilling is you have to gain a competitive advantage. If you're not gaining a competitive advantage, what happens basically is you might lose the kind of motivation or the satisfaction, because always the other person wins. The only other person goes a little higher up. So it's not so easy to digest. So you really need that kind of a motivation or something driving you towards to make things better. So that is the most important thing. So the second most important thing is gaining competitive advantage. So you have to be always ahead of your competitors. Competitors is not only for the organizations, competitors is not only for the brands. Every individual has competitors. But of course, a healthy competition is required, because healthy competition paves way for upskilling, the need of upskilling, because you create a collaborative learning. The collaborative learning is everybody learn together. Everybody learns or strives to achieve something together. The power of team learning plays a very, very vital role in gaining competitive advantage. Because it's not about you winning, or it's not about you going ahead of a person. You are actually, there's no something like that. We are running not a competition. It's not that out of the 10 employees, one employee has to win. So we're not running a race. All the employees should win. If all 10 wins, then the company wins. If 10 can win, 1,000 can win. So that is the kind of mechanism that the company drives in, that all the company wants it. If the company believes that every individual should win, they should be a winner, they should be the champions. I cannot have more champions. So we cannot have many first prizes. There's no first prize, one, two, and all that. So it's just one, two, three, four. So that's the most important thing. The second most important point is gaining competitive advantage.